Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, if you are new here, you do like transfer news, you like Leeds United analysis, tactics, live streams, reactions, all of that good stuff, then you know what to do down below. But today's video is a big transfer roundup because there has been some, let's say, chaos around Elland Road this week, and especially in the last 24 hours. The first one is a bit of really good news, is that Leeds have apparently, according to Fabrizio Romano and Phil Hay and other reputable sources, agreed a deal for Jed Spence. Now, the right back obviously had an amazing season in 21-22 with Nottingham Forest in the Championship, which earned him his move to Spurs, and it hasn't exactly worked out for him there. He's excellent going forward, not fantastic at the back, but I think the fact that we'll be playing on the front foot, we're playing in an attacking system, and the way he's able to dribble, get balls into the box, and actually sometimes even get himself on the score sheet, I think would be an unbelievable sign. It's a £1 million loan fee, but I do think it bolsters our options, especially with people like Sam Byram. Yes, he's been really good, but he is also very injury prone and has also been playing at left back. So we probably need another right back, especially given how Cody Drama played when he did come on in that game at the weekend against Ipswich. So this is a very good bit of news for Leeds fans, I think. I think Jed Spence, I'm excited about this one. I feel like he could sort of reignite his career here. He either helps us get promoted and stays, and we have to pay out for him, or he gets us promoted and gets a move to somebody else. Either way, I think he'll be a very good addition to the team. And I think once he's had a few training sessions, he slots right in, maybe over Luke Ayling, given the fact that he is such a good player in the attacking phase, and that he can link up with people like Nonto, Rutter, all those good attackers that we've got as well. It'd be like having an extra attacker in there. So Jed Spence, that one apparently is done and to be announced any day now. Well, everything's any day now, isn't it? Because the transfer window's nearly over. So that one's Jed Spence. If we do sign him, and when we do, I will do a more detailed analysis on him. But for now, this is a bit of a news roundup just because we've been linked to so many players. The next one is Luke Thomas. Now, Luke Thomas, the young left back from Leicester City. Apparently, we have been linked. We were interested in him, taking him on loan, but Leicester City are unsure about loaning him to a promotion rival, which is good that they see Leeds as that, given our start to the season. But yeah, they're unsure about loaning him to another Championship club, and especially a club that probably will be up there challenging by the end of the season. And apparently Manchester United are also interested in the player because Luke Shaw has now been injured, and they're looking for somebody to come in and deputise for him. So it looks like the Luke Thomas one won't happen. That would have been a loan as well, because Leicester wouldn't have wanted to willingly sell the player to a rival, even loaning them seems like a stretch, so that one doesn't seem like it's going to happen. The biggest sort of like chaotic one is Nadiem Amiri, who first it was on when I made that video, then it was off again, then it was on again. Now he actually has travelled to Leeds. He's walked around the city, he's seen the training ground, he's done all that stuff, and they couldn't come to an agreement. Now, a lot of people are memeing the fact that he took one look at Leeds and took one look at the actual club and said that he didn't want any part of it. But it is more likely to do with the fact that he was trying to insert a clause, or him and his agent were trying to insert a clause, who, let's remember, is his brother, in his contract, where if Leeds didn't get promoted, at the end of this season, there would be some cause and some ability for him to leave the club, because he wanted to only spend a maximum of 1 year in the Championship. And fair play to the club for saying, look, no, we're not going to do that, because obviously now more than ever they've been stung by contract clauses like this, especially after we got relegated. All these players that were able to just get up and walk out the club scot-free, basically, after getting us relegated because of those clauses that were inserted into their contract. Now more than ever, the club will be wary about inserting anything like that, and this is kind of like the opposite way around to what those players had. So, like I say, fair play to the club for sort of sticking with their guns and saying, do you know what, we don't want to put that in. If you want to sign anyway, we'll have you. If you don't, take it or leave it. and he's left it, and they've gone back to Germany, and it has been pictured back in Bayer Leverkusen training again. So it looks like the Nadiem Amiri one is truly gone now. Kenny McLean, there wasn't really much talk of this at all, to be honest, until very, very recently, and it's come out that Leeds actually had I think it was a £4 million bid rejected by Norwich for the midfielder. Now, the Norwich midfielder, I saw it on, I can't remember if it was the Second Tier or somebody like that, basically saying that Kenny McLean had basically done the most running in the Championship so far this season in midfield, and the person in second was Ethan Ampadu, so you can see how them two together would work really well in midfield, and someone that Farke trusts, someone that Farke's used before to get promoted. But Norwich are trying to build their own project here, and they're not willing to let somebody like Kenny McLean go to Leeds because it would only be a relatively small fee of £4 million, and they feel like they can hold on to him and build a bit of a team to make their own promotion push. So that one is not on. Now, yesterday or the day before, whenever I made the Tanaka video, I talked about what a good player he was and how I think he would fit into the system in that similar role to what Kenny McLean would have been for. So if you want to check that one out, that is the video from the other day. You'll find it on the channel. I recommend giving that one a view. But he has apparently, according to reports over in Germany, picked up a knee injury in training. So Leeds they were ready to pull the trigger, and now apparently, according to reports, are holding fire a little bit to see the extent of this injury. If it's just a knock and he's going to be out for 1 or 2 weeks, then you'd imagine that they'd go in and get the player. But if it's something like a cruciate or anything that is for an extended period of time with his knee, they probably won't see this one over the line. So it'd be interesting to see how they deal with that situation. Like I say, it's 2 days now. It's Thursday, the transfer window ends, and it's Tuesday today, time of recording. So yeah, it's interesting. I think they'll have somebody lined up to get instead of him if it is the case that he is injured for a more prolonged period of time. But like I talked about in that video from the other day, I think he would fit in really well. So it'd be a shame if he was to slip through the net because of this injury. But it's just our luck, isn't it? It's the most Leeds thing that could happen to a potential transfer, apart from what's been happening with Nadiem Amiri. So yeah, ironically, we're sort of seeing all colours of the rainbow in terms of players knackering up their own moves to Leeds United. But yes, it shows at least that we are ramping things up now. The fact that we've got 5 transfers to talk about today. One of them is definitely coming in. The other 4 are very up in the air. In fact, 3 of them are probably not going to happen, and 1 of them might happen. So we've got Jed Spence coming in, which would be a really good addition. I think we do still need a left back. And yes, it shows that when we were looking at Luke Thomas that we were still interested in bringing in a left back. There's still Charlie Taylor hovering around in the reports, and that one doesn't seem to go away. So maybe they're saying that they'll go and pick him up because they know that they can get him if there's no other options available for someone a bit younger and a bit more sprightly, should we say. That's a very old-fashioned word for me to use for that. But Charlie Taylor had been playing at centre-back, actually, for Burnley the last times he was playing for them in the Championship, and shows maybe that he's lost a little bit of his mobility, or just the fact that Ian Matson, the left-back for them that season, who's now at Chelsea, his parent club, was so good that Charlie Taylor was never going to get in, and they probably thought he would make a good centre-back. But it remains to be seen on that one. There is going to be plenty of news in the next few days, and you would imagine that Leeds will have a quite active deadline day as well. So look out for videos on the channel surrounding all of that good stuff, hopefully bringing in more players. The only other thing is I shall be uploading this a few hours before the Salford City versus Leeds United game in the Carabao Cup. I am live for that, so come back on the channel at 10 to 8 where we'll have a little bit of chat before kickoff, and then we shall watch the game together. So yeah, make sure you join me for that. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. So I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately.